And Danielle Fitzpatrick-Clark here from Influence Builder. And thank you so much if you joined me for my LinkedIn audio event today, where we talked about summer sales and just some of the things that have been kind of coming up with clients, colleagues, and just what I've been hearing from within several different industries when it comes to the summer months. And so the summer months tend to be a bit slow sales wise. So, and is that always the case? No, it's not always the case. So what we did today was we talked about some of the ways that you guys can start having more of a sizzling summer with some sales, and so that you can go into the fall strong. So if you weren't there, I wanted to give you guys a clipped version, like just a little bit of information on what I talked about in the audio, because I didn't record it, but I still wanted to give you guys something. And so there were several solutions that I gave you guys, and also a couple of other things to think about. So here are the solutions that you want to look at if you're finding that your sales aren't where you want them to be here in the summer months. One is that you want to look at different industries. So it's a really great thing to have different industries, especially if you can work with different industries. You can work with different people and companies within industries. So this is a really great way to look into this more, because some industries are actually really busy, very busy in the summer. So whether or not your industry is slow doesn't necessarily mean another industry is slow. And I'll have another way of giving you some solutions for industries and getting into those industries a little faster here at the end. The other one was, you got to look at the geographic location of your ideal clients. Now, do they all have to be in the United States? Maybe not. Maybe you have more of an international presence. So if you have more of an international presence, great. Maybe in the other side of the world, and this is just the case for me, it's been this case, you have clients that don't have as long of a summer break because it's actually their winter break. And so the winter break doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be as long as our summer break here is in the United States, Canada, North America, South America. So you want to look into that and see if there actually more of a trend towards the opposite end of the world when it comes to who's busy and who's not during these months. And it's not to say that you're going to have an industry that doesn't have a slow summer, and it's not saying that there's a different country that you want to focus on that may be a little faster. It's all based on what you guys research and find out. But these are just some suggestions to look at. This is what's worked for me and my company. So the third solution, and this may not be a right now solution, but this is definitely something that you guys want to consider for either the end of 2023, where we go through the holidays and it tends to be a little slower then too, or even summer 2024. And this is, think about your ideal clients and what they do during the summer. So do they relax and say, I'm not taking any sales calls, which is the case of a lot of my ideal clients. They're like, I'm not taking any sales calls, I'm not doing anything extra. But what they will do, they will catch up on their courses. They will catch up on their courses because they're planning a launch in September. So if they're planning a launch in September, they are absolutely gearing up in July, August, and they're learning things so that they can have an even better launch. So when it comes to courses, they will take information from courses. They'll even jump on some events like this. So some of you guys may have jumped into this event because you're sprucing up your sales tactics, right? So you guys also want to consider, what can I offer? What can I sell that's more educational? So digital products are a really great thing to sell. Courses are a really great thing to sell. But membership sites are a really great thing to sell too during the summer, where people can get more information on the things that they need to improve. So you guys want to look into, do I have a course? Can I flip the switch on that course? Can I get it started even now? Is there something within this summer or the slowdown of summer sales that I can actually start thinking ahead on and put this course or this digital product out next year before the summer hits? So I just want you guys to kind of look at that and see if there's any strategies for you there. The other thing is that I want you guys to start looking at your product suite as a whole. So the whole product suite, because you may have parts of your product suite that work better for people in the summer. Maybe they don't want to necessarily buy the whole thing. Maybe they want to buy it in chunks. So you may be able to take your current product suite or maybe even a larger product that you have and take a piece out of it. And that's what you can sell during the summer months, right? So what's a really good example that I gave everybody? Well, it's a pretty easy example, and it's broad, of course, but you guys will understand what I'm saying. So let's just take a heating and AC company. They're not going to necessarily be selling their AC units when we're in the fall and going into winter when it gets colder. Most likely they're going to be selling any heating services, right? So same thing goes with the spring. They're not going to be selling heating services in the spring, unless it's still really cold there and everything's breaking down, you still need your heat. Yeah, so cool, of course. But for the most part, their sales and marketing is going to be geared more towards those summer months, because that's where everybody's heads at. That's what they're willing to spend. And so that's kind of where you want your head to go there. That's where you want your head to go when it comes to your product suites. What do I have? Do I have seasonal offerings? Can I make some of this a seasonal offering? So that's the other piece that I want to tell you guys that you want to pay attention to. Okay, so the last solution I have actually goes really well with the first solution, which is industry, right? And so what is this last solution that I'm giving you guys? Well, I want you guys to start thinking about strategic partnerships, right? So there are industries, again, they are actually in business. The summer seasons are actually their strongest seasons. This is when they need the most help. This is when they do the most hiring. This is when they really could be using your products and services. But if you haven't taken the time to go from one industry to another industry, just know that that can be something that can be very not challenging, so to speak. Some people will find it challenging. It can take a little more time than what you want it to. So the shortcut when it comes to getting into an industry that could really use you during the summer months is strategic partnerships. You want to strategically partner with people that are in the industry that you want to get into. And this is not just for the summer months. I mean, if you're looking to cross over to another industry, this is how you do it really well, is that you focus on building up those strategic partnerships, networking with people that are in that industry and supporting them, because they may be wanting to hop over to your industry. So this is when it becomes really interesting, right, with these strategic partnerships. So if during the summer months, this is your slow month, but this other industry, they tend to pick up during this month, then it makes a lot of sense for you to strategically partner with them so that they can put your content, they can put your offerings out there during the summer when people in their industry are buying, right? And of course, give them referral cash, make sure that you're making it worth their while. And also, the best strategic partnerships that I've made are when I have another industry person that I'm working with. They're getting me into their industry and they want to come over into my industry. That makes a beautiful partnership, right? So look for those strategic partnerships, and that's actually something that you can start doing now. You can start looking for those strategic partnerships, and it may be at that point right now where they could have referrals for you. They could have people within their network that are saying, I needed this. Man, I wish it was a month ago, but I can still use it now. So you never know. So that's something that you can start doing today, is looking for those strategic partnerships. You're going to have to do some research. What is your offerings, your products, your services? What industries can that actually translate to? And does it translate? And then who do you know in that industry? Or who do you know that knows somebody in that industry, right? So strategic partnerships, so important. In 2023, these are so important. Okay, so these are the solutions that I gave you, but here's also some of the causes of a slow summer. And I have to bring this up. I just have to, because it couldn't be obvious to me and to people close to you, but it may not be obvious to you. And there's a couple things that I want you guys to think about when it comes to your summer sales, because this is really important, because awareness can bring you to a place of solution. And I've given you all these amazing solutions, but there's a couple things that if you haven't looked at this may be the time to look at this. And what are those things? So the first thing is that, well, are you still doing the sales activities that now in the summer months that you did when things were busy, maybe in the early spring when sales were going really well? Are you still doing the same reach out? Are you still having the same amount of calls? All those things. So you want to look at that because your numbers are really important, right? The other thing is that, are you tracking? So what I find a lot of times is that people are like, it's a slow summer. And so we'll look at their numbers and I'm like, well, actually, I still think you're doing really well. What I am noticing is a dip in the amount of sales calls you have. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with the amount of reach out. And it'll be, yeah, actually, we aren't reaching out to as many people, and they'll have those numbers, and then we'll be able to match those numbers. Sometimes they're reaching out to the same amount of people, but I mean, it is a summer month after all, or it's the summertime. And so the reach out isn't actually getting people on the phone. So then what's the solution to that? Well, you may need to increase the amount of people that you have to reach out to during the summer months, which just means that you may have to hire more team members, more contractors to help you with that, especially if you're going on vacation or some of your main employees are taking summer vacation. Maybe you need to hire some part-time people. I mean, this is a great time to have interns too, guys, right? The summer months. So look into that. Your numbers don't lie. They'll tell you a lot. You may be actually on track. You just may need to increase the amount of people that you're reaching out to because it's just not yielding the same results. Or maybe you've even pulled back a little bit on the amount of people that you've reached out to because it's summer months. Employees are taking summer vacation. You're taking summer vacation. And that's actually the culprit of all of this, right? So just be really aware of your numbers, of what you're doing that you weren't doing. And does that actually fit with what your expectations should be at this point right now, right? So what's the last thing I want you guys to also think about is your mindset. So as human beings, like we are actually much more powerful with our minds than we know. And we can be that self-fulfilling prophecy when it comes to what we actually manifest and bring in. So if you're saying to yourself or saying it out loud to anybody, I mean, there's a reason why I put up this event, right? Because everybody was saying, my sales are slow. Nobody's buying. And so I'm like, well, let's check that. And so this is the time to acknowledge, are you saying those things? Are you being a self-fulfilling prophecy here where you're saying nobody's buying, I can't get anyone to get on the phone with me, I have no idea, I might as well just take the whole summer off, or it's just not even worth my time, I'm just gonna wait till August. I mean, all those things that come up. And is that actually what's happening? And it could be. I'm not saying it's not, but also, even if it is, how do you actually want your summer months to go? So you have to really come back within and decide that for yourself. Like, do I actually want to take a break? Do I want to even be busy? Do I want to be in sales all summer long? Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't and you're trying to. And so there's that resistance piece too that's happening. Just like two magnets trying to come together, they're just not going to work if there's one that's not aligned with the other. So you got to think of it that way too. Am I being the self-fulfilling prophecy? And if that's the case, then what is it that I'm saying to myself that's actualizing all those things? And also, have I checked in? Do I actually want to do a ton of sales? Do I have the time? Do I have the space during the summer with all the other things that I have going on that I don't normally have going on when it comes to fulfillment? So there's all these little things that can come up for us beyond just like, hey, the numbers look good. It's not that. Hey, I've tried all those things, Danielle, that you said, and it's still not happening. Maybe it's something else. And so this is usually where I tell people to start, get aligned with what it is that you really want before you go into the strategy. But most people are going to do the strategy first. So you can see why this is how I laid out what I talked to everybody about. So if all else is failing and you haven't done the mindset work, you want to go to that next. If you haven't looked at any of this, here's my preference. Here's my suggestion. This is what I encourage you to do. Check your mindset first. Check it and see if you're the one that's actually putting out there that no one's buying. And if that's actually the case, you get to correct that. That's an easy correct. And so the next thing is that if you actually haven't been saying those things, then also check to see, is this actually in an alignment with me to do this many sales calls and take on this much extra work, or not even extra work, or take on this much work when I only have so many employees over the summer? Can I actually handle it? Because you may be You may be the resistance, and it may be really good resistance, and it may be on purpose because of what's going on, right? So look at all those things, guys. I hope this helps. I hope you guys enjoy this little blurb. I try to keep it as short as possible. But you know, summer sales, they're there. People are always buying, always buying. And it's just our job as the business owners to align with where we want to go with our sales and with our team and with what we have available and the strategic partnerships and all the things. It's our job to align with those things and move forward. It's somebody else's. So I hope that helps, guys. I also have a very special offer for you guys if you're interested in really revving up those sales in August. You're going to love this. And so I will drop the link here as well, right below the video. I hope you guys enjoy. Bye for now.